Welcome to this tutorial on building a real-time analytics dashboard using Java. In this video, we'll explore how to collect, process, and display data in real time. We will use technologies like Spring Boot, WebSocket, and a database to achieve this functionality. First, let's outline the requirements of our dashboard. We want to display analytics for a fictional online store. The data points we will track include the number of visitors, orders placed, and revenue generated. We want this dashboard to refresh in real time as the data changes. We'll be using Spring Boot for our backend, which makes it easy to build standalone, production-grade Spring-based applications. Also, we will leverage WebSocket, allowing us to push updates to clients in real time. Let's start by setting up our Spring Boot project. I recommend using the Spring Initializer to generate our project. Go to start.spring.io and select the following dependencies: Web, WebSocket, and Spring Data JPA. Once you've selected the dependencies, click on Generate and extract the downloaded zip file. Open the project in your favorite IDE. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA. Next, let's set up our database configuration. For simplicity, we'll use H2, an in-memory database, for this tutorial. In your application.properties file, add the following database configurations. Now create a model to represent our analytics data. This will be a simple class with fields for visitors, orders, and revenue. Create a new class called Analytics Data inside a new package named Model. Next, we need a repository to interact with our database. Create an interface called Analytics Data Repository that extends the JPA repository interface. This will allow us to perform database operations easily. Now, let's implement a service to manage our analytics data. Create a new class called Analytics Data Service. This service will use the repository to provide methods to fetch and update analytics data. Next, we will implement the WebSocket functionality. Create a new package called WebSocket, and then a class named Analytics WebSocket. This class will handle WebSocket connections and broadcasting updates. Now, we need to configure WebSocket in our application. Create a new configuration class named WebSocket Config. This class will define our WebSocket endpoints. Let's set up a basic controller to expose an endpoint we can use to fetch analytics data. Create a class called Analytics Controller in the controller package. This will serve the initial analytics data when the dashboard loads. Now that we have our backend set up, we can move to the front end of our application. We'll create a simple HTML page that will serve as our dashboard. Create a folder named static in the src/main/resources directory and add an index.html file. In the HTML file, we load sock.js and stomp.js to manage WebSocket connections. We display the visitors, orders, and revenue, and update the dashboard when new data arrives from the WebSocket. With our front-end and back-end prepared, let's run the application. Right-click on the main application class and select Run, or use the command line with /mvnw Spring Boot run. Once running, navigate your browser to http://localhost 8080. When the dashboard loads, you should see the initial analytics data. To simulate real-time updates, we can create a simple endpoint to manually update the analytics data. Let's add a method in our analytics controller to handle this. Now let's write a small client-side JavaScript function to manually trigger updates. You can place this inside the scripty tag in your HTML. You can call this function from a button on the page to update your data randomly. Add the following button to your HTML file. Now if you click the button, the analytics data should be updated. Our dashboard reflects these changes in real time without needing to refresh the page. To summarize, we have successfully built a real-time analytics dashboard using Spring Boot and WebSocket. We covered setting up the backend with Spring Boot, Spring Data JPA, and WebSocket, as well as creating an interactive front-end using HTML and JavaScript. In a production application, you would want to enhance security, validate data, and possibly integrate with a message broker for handling analytics events in an even more robust way. Consider using Redis or RabbitMQ for larger-scale applications. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with more Java tutorials.